Hi, today's episode is special. We got two entrepreneurs, Harprem and Sahib. Harprem is an individual who considers himself the core of every business, a man built with grit and passion in the true sense. He has ventured into assisting startups at a very young age. Harprem sits on this show as a startup guru who has worked with companies from ground level up, who have begun from just a seed and flourished to a point of recognition under his wing.
Welcome to the last episode of the Exclusives 2018. Today's episode is special because we've not got one, but two dynamic young individuals. We first meet Harprem Doowa, who set his sight on revolutionizing and disrupting what was once an extremely boring and stagnant insurance industry. Harprem, welcome to the show. So Harprem, tell us what you do now and how it all got started.
Well, let's go back to the beginning, okay? So I graduated from Monash University in Australia with a bachelor's in marketing and finance. After that, I came back to Thailand, did a brokerage and equity stint at a financial firm here for about 2 years, and then I decided to do my master's because I really want to get into the community in Thailand. Right out of my master's program, I knew that I did not want to work in a company anymore, but I wanted to own a company or become a manager or director of a company. So that's when I actually started my first company, which is called PetLoft. In coordination with a company called Ardent Capital, which was a VC firm. And that went really, really well for quite a while, actually. For 3 years, we were doing that. It was then that I started seeing a turn in the industry a little bit, whereas e-commerce as an industry itself was becoming a little bit more stagnant and oversaturated, to be quite honest. A lot of competitors were entering the space, and I said, you know what? It's time for me to step away from this and actually try to venture something else, because I'm a type of personality who wants to be disruptive. I want to get into the industry and actually change things. And I realized that by me staying in the e-commerce industry wasn't going to do that anymore. So I decided to jump in, head first into the financial industry and get into the insurance industry. It was quite stagnant, nothing had changed in a long time, and you know what? Me and our partners, which is a VC firm out of Hong Kong, said it was a perfect opportunity, let's start with Thailand, and that's when we created Frank. Yeah, so what Frank does is we sell insurance online and we make it simple, fast, and customizable to the customer's needs.
And who are your target customers?
Well, in Thailand, actually, we're targeting anyone who wants to buy insurance. We started off with car insurance, selling through online channels with the customer service in the back end. We started with 0 people 2 years ago. Now we got about 50 people in Thailand, and we have an office in Hong Kong and Portugal as well now. So all in a span of 2 years, it happened pretty fast.
That's wonderful. You also have entered and ventured out into an extremely competitive world. Do you ever have regrets or doubts?
Doubts come every day. It is because you're not working in a family business or something that is completely secure. The whole industry is very volatile. I'm sure you've heard of Bitcoins, for example, recently, where the prices fluctuate from 20–30% a day. Startups are the same. About 90% of startups that are actually created fail in the first year. Another 5% fail in the second year. This is very, very normal statistics for my industry. So am I worried? Yes, definitely worried. Do I have doubts or do I have any regrets? None whatsoever. My venture into startup world actually started from a failure. So just a little story, and a lot of people actually know this, was when I first started in this industry, when I first started PetLoft, I was actually going to be fired from my VCs within the first 3 months because I had no experience. I was 24 years old, and this is my first company that I was actually the MD and CEO of. I didn't give up though. Literally, the VC called me and said, look, we don't think you're a match for the company anymore. We've put in a lot of money into this. We are going to be putting a lot of money into this, and we want somebody who's able and capable or has experience managing. I said, I understand, I have no experience, but I knew I had the entrepreneurial spirit. And I have this fighter inside of me that says, don't give up, don't just take an answer, no. And I said, okay, why don't you do this? why don't you put a mentor above me? Let me work under him for a couple of months and see if I can actually cut it. And the VC took about a day to think about it. They called me back and they said, in our past 10, 15 years of building businesses and starting companies, we've never actually heard any employee or any MD of ours who's about to be fired actually give that answer before. So they really liked that, and they said, okay, we'll give you another shot. 6 months later, I was back in the top position in the company, and then I started growing the company from there on. So, yeah.
That's really fascinating how you just bounced back.
Yeah.
What advice would you have for our viewers watching today?
Actually, I would definitely give that advice, is never give up, especially if you want to start your own company. You can't give up. You really have to believe in the idea that you're doing it, and you have to understand what the reasons are of you doing this as well. If you give up, a lot of people are going to be naysayers. You'll always live with that regret. You'll always have that thought in the back of your mind, should I have done this? Should I have done that? Should I have done things differently? For me, because I live life with no regrets, I don't actually have that. Another advice I would actually say, which is a little bit more practical in the startup world, is fail fast. Fail fast meaning you have a lot of ideas. As an entrepreneur, I have ideas on a daily basis. My wife gets a little bit irritated at me from time to time, but that's just how it is. So I'd say fail fast, because every idea that you have, test it as quickly as possible. You can do simplest things to test it. When I wanted to sell pet products online, I didn't have to go deal with large manufacturers. I just literally went to the pet store, bought everything they had, and put it on a website to try to sell it. And if I knew it sold, then I went to contact that particular distributor, because that was the easiest way to test whether selling pet food online would work or not. And the same thing with insurance right now. We have multiple types of insurance products. We've got car products, travel insurance, personal accident, this multitude of insurance products available. So we decided to test. Let's see which ones to do first. Do a quick survey, send it out, put some money into it, let 100, 200 people respond, and now they have an answer right away. Okay, my customers want this. It's actually very, very simple. If you have to go in with the mindset of customer first, you won't fail, because at the end of the day, those are the people buying your products.
Hi, my name is Shannon Kalayanamit, and I met Harprem in 2014. The one thing that strikes me about Prem is that after working with him so long, is that we not only have had a very good rapport together, but he's one of the most hardworking, loyal, consistent people out there, which in a world of a lot of high-flying, out there entrepreneurs that just want to be seen in the press and doing dramatic things, Prem is one that actually gets stuff done and gets it done well, puts his head down, cares deeply about his team. The team was gutted when he left in 2015 after we did our third merger together. And I'm really glad that he got to start Frank, which again, what he's done successfully was found another gap in the market, and just recently won the top car insurance award this year. Congratulations, Prem.
Behind every successful man is a woman, and we now meet Sneha, Harprem's other half.
Hi, I'm Sneha. I'm Harprem's wife. He's really a problem solver. So whenever he has a passion for something, and he truly addresses it, and he really cares about something or someone, he's always out there to get it, of course in a very nice and meaningful way. A lot of times we share thoughts and feelings and ideas together, but one thing I have to say about him is he's really an all-rounder. Like even at home, even when he's with me, be it with his family or friends, he's always sharing, always exploring, and he's never the type to actually hide his ideas as long as it's for the benefit of other people. As a quality to actually be out there, be a go-getter, and someone who's truly passionate is actually very hard to find, and that's something that I really admire about him, because it's his drive and it's his ambition, but at the same time he knows what his priorities are. He also knows how to balance very well, and that's something that I truly admire and learn and want to learn from him a lot more. So I wish you all the best, and I really hope that your career goes to a high success, along with your personal life, of course. Thank you.
Back to you, Harprem. And what's your philosophy towards work-life balance?
There has to be a balance. You have to remember why you're working. And I really firmly believe in this. I actually tell my staff this as well. I force some of my staff to take annual leaves once in a while because I feel that if you keep working too hard and you forget the reason you're working, you're gonna burn out. And burning out is the worst thing that can happen to a company because that's gonna increase turnover. It's also gonna decrease productivity, and it's also overall just really bad for a culture because people are just not happy. You look at the new working environments that people are getting in their offices nowadays. Google's office have a nap room, have a massage room, have a games room, have a free lunch every day, free dinner, free breakfast. And this is not just with Google, this is with a lot of companies that are starting up as well. For Frank, we actually have a room for games. There's a PlayStation in there, a ping pong room, cards, bean bags, chairs, a little roll-out bed, just so our staff can take a nap during lunch or just relax a little bit. They need to realize that working is a way for you to actually live your life the way you want to live your life because that's why you're earning money. Without that balance, you forget. Work allows me to do these things. Doesn't mean I ignore it. Doesn't mean I don't do it well or put my 100% when I'm doing it. I do, but I need to remember that there's things outside of that that's actually important to me as well.
That's good advice.
Thank you.
Thank you, Harprem. It's been a pleasure speaking with you.
Thank you so much. You've been a great host.
Disruptive entrepreneurship is driving corporate renovation and reinvention. With companies like Harprem's around, we're only going to see more traditional markets get disrupted, like education, healthcare, and insurance. That was Harprem Doowa, MD and co-founder of Frank Insurance Online. To get in touch with him personally, go to harprem.com, and for your insurance need, frank.co.th. When we come back, we meet our next guest, Sahib Anandsongvit. Stay tuned.
And our second guest, Sahib, walking his own path, always a journey this young man seeks to take. Edged with a continuous drive to succeed, Sahib today sits on the show as the founder of Seekster, an app designed to bring services to your doorstep. In a relative short period of time, it has become a well-known name across Thailand today. This millennial of an entrepreneur shapes the true sense of the quote, "Wisdom does not come with years." With that, over to you, Renuka.
Welcome back. We're now talking to Sahib Anandsongvit, who's going to share with us his thoughts on the app development process as well as his Seekster journey. Welcome to the show, Sahib.
Thank you. It's a pleasure being here.
Sahib, tell us what is Seekster and how did you take it from idea to launch?
Okay, so Seekster, in very simple words, we are a mobile platform that connects property owners, be it a house, an office, a hotel, any sort of property owners, to reliable and qualified local maids and technicians. Right? So whether you're looking for a maid to come and clean your house or your office, or a technician to come and clean or service your aircon, we're just 4 taps away and the service provider is at your doorstep. Right? Going back to why and how I started this takes me about 4 years back now. Back to college days when, firstly I must say I'm very fortunate enough to be part of a very entrepreneurial family background. Having a family business of making tailor-made suits, I was always very passionate about the business. So, going back to the shop after college, learning more about the business, traveling with my sales team, always made me want to be an entrepreneur myself. Now we diversified into hotels. When I say hotels, I would say boutique hotels, about 20 to 25 rooms. When I was managing that, I found it very difficult to find technicians or even cleaners to manage my property. So let's say a guest is checking in, and all of a sudden my receptionist calls me and say, "Sir, 201, the toilet pipe just busted out, or the aircon's leaking." You know the guest is checking in within a couple of hours. Where do you find these service providers from? You can check Google, you can ask your friends, or perhaps in Bangkok, around the streets, you walk around, you will see trees and poles that have a signboard that says AC technician,
Right.
number, a cleaner, and a number. Then you sit there and you wonder like, hey, so you know that these guys are there, but are you really going to trust that person who's posting on a tree or wall to come into your house or a property? How reliable are they, right? And what are they going to charge? These three questions were stuck in me. Like, there has to be a solution, because there's supply out there clearly. There's a lot of people out there that want to find these kind of jobs, and there's people like probably you and I that can't find these service providers when we need one, right? So that's when I said there's supply, there's demand. There's just no platform for it. And at that point of time, Uber, Grab, they were just picking pace as well, right? So you would think about it like Airbnb. You book a house, and they're disrupting the hotel industry. And you're talking about, why isn't there a platform where I can just book a service? And that's when I actually went out there myself, and talked to people and try to find that kind of same common problem people have. And I just said, this is what I'm going to do, and this is an idea that has to be filled in the market. And that's where Seekster began from, and today we're 2 years old. Seekster is not just a marketplace, which means we don't just connect you with another provider from another company. We white label these services, so Seekster is actually a platform. That means if you book a service from our platform, you will have a service provider that has already been curated on our platform, which means they've gone through police background check, they've had an in-house training, they've signed a contract with us. Our tech algorithm monitors and curates their reviews and ratings, and they wear a Seekster t-shirt into your house.
Okay, so what are some of the bigger technical challenges you've had to overcome?
Well, I would say technical challenges for us. When we started back then, you would always aim for automation. That's where tech comes in. Scalability is something that is very important for a startup. Otherwise, you're just an SME. Right? Today, we are just in Bangkok. How can we make sure that the same tech can accommodate the same business model in, let's say, Chonburi, or Phuket, Chiang Mai, or let's say even if you go abroad to Vietnam, Philippines, right? So our biggest challenge has always been to make sure that our tech is one step ahead of the game, where the apps that consumers are using and the apps that the service providers are using is very easy to use, right? Because our core service, our core USP is trust and convenience. We sell trust and convenience. So that means we want to make it as easy as possible for a consumer to use a service, to call for a service, and for the service provider to receive a service and perhaps monitor the job, get the next job, and just keep getting more jobs so they're happy and they can give good quality service to our customers.
So would you say you've achieved that scale today? Would you consider Seekster successful?
We're almost there. I mean, I will not say we're successful just yet because our engines have just started. The 2 years have been a bumpy ride. Yes, we have won a lot of awards. We have just been awarded. We just came first of the government, one of the government awards as well. I've been almost on a lot of big stages, and thankfully, I've won most of them. I have very high-profile investors as of today as well. Very strong angel investors, as well as investors like SCB Bank, DTAC, a venture capital called 500 Startups. So yes, I do consider ourselves achieving this earlier than what I expected, but the road's very far for us. I mean, we have a long way to go, and I will consider success when we reach a point when things are fully automated and we are at a few cities or countries and being able to satisfy customers as per what we set our standards.
So Seekster's had a lot of prestige and fame this year. What else inspires you?
But as an entrepreneur, I very much look up to Jack Ma of Alibaba. I mean, coming from nowhere to being an iconic industry leader today, and what inspires me the most is never to give up, because I've gone through a very bumpy ride in the past 2 years. I've had hit rock bottom where I didn't get through an accelerator program. I didn't get that kind of funds. I couldn't pay my staff salary for the next month, and I thought that was the end of Seekster. As in, we are going to shut down tomorrow. I'm going to go to office, tell my teammates, it's the end of us. This is the last paycheck, and that's it. But then I thought, I haven't come this far just to come this far. And that's what kept me going. and thankfully things just turned after that. Today we're partners with the highest and the most prestigious property developers in town with a strong backing, which makes me confident enough to keep going ahead.
And do you plan to take Seekster outside of Thailand?
I definitely see the plans and potentials because growth is beyond anyone's control, and I would like to see Seekster being a global brand someday. We're right now very focused on Thailand. Reason being is that we feel that we're just getting our engine started. We want to dominate this market, before we start expanding. That being said, we are looking for. I'm open to the right partners and collaborations, and of course the right timing to enter any market. But we do have something big that's coming out within this year, hopefully, and that will be either a new market or a new service on its own.
That's exciting. All the best with that, Sahib.
Thank you.
Sahib, you're a really young CEO. How do you handle that?
Handling a company at a very young age, I would say I would be very lucky to learn from the industry leaders or people who I call mentor today, right? Because I believe that age doesn't determine your leadership skills or your success. Today, a lot of people perhaps don't know my age when doing business, and I consider that as an advantage to me. But actually, handling a company of this scale today, there has been a lot of sacrifices in the past. I mean, I had to let go a lot of things to achieve what I have today, which means I may have not, had an ideal college life where you would enjoy and just party. That also means that I have to let go some of my family time or personal time to achieve and keep my company going. But the most important thing that I would say is as a CEO today or as a leader of the company, my main and primary role is to find and cultivate the right culture, right? Because culture determines your company. And luckily, I have found the right people to work with. So my co-founders are equally my age. The company that I'm running today has an average age of 27. Yes, I don't have consultants and strategists or people above 35 to lead the company with experience, but this keeps my company going because these people who are just like me are very passionate about what we're doing. They're always upbeat, they're always ahead of the game. They would be there to make sure that the company is growing in a good way.
Sahib, thank you so much for taking the time to be here with us today. Your journey's only just beginning, and we wish you all the best.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been my pleasure as well.
That was Sahib Anandsongvit, founder of Seekster. Find out more about Sahib and Seekster at seekster.co. Before I sign off, I'd like to thank our venue host, Rembrandt Hotels, Bangkok. It's been a pleasure being your host, and this is the last episode of the Exclusives 2018. We wish you a successful and productive year ahead.